I guess that even just building the replica, one begins to put oneself in Pearse's position that, will it work? What will it do? Is this going to be strong enough? And it's tempting to, I think I'll just double up on that a wee bit, I don't like that. But we are sticking to the way he did it. And so one is inclined to put oneself right back that 100 years and trying to think the way he thought. And you lay awake at night a lot thinking about it. And it's so fascinating. That's where the swearing starts again.
I think we've learnt something. We've learned how to do a seam knot. Makes you stop and think about Richard Pearse a lot more when you do something like this. I mean, he was such a talented man, really.
And they ridiculed him really in his time, didn't they?
He was ridiculed right through. We are completing one part of the wingspan for the Richard Pearse replica plane.
When we were wee kids living out at Waitui, Dad dug up his engine. Was it the second engine out of the the dump at the riverbed at Waitui? So we were only little, and I remember it sitting against the shed at home, and that probably sparked an interest.
Audrey, I've got a wire over here somewhere.
I'll come
I'm not sure. There.
Oh, yes.
So which?
Where are you?
Will it fly?
Yeah, of course.
Well, we're doing our damnedest to make it fly, aren't we?
Right.
We're doing our bit towards it.
Well, we always talk about New Zealand, the number 8 wire thing, that Kiwis are, from their pioneering background, have always found a solution to things, and I think his is a very scientific and advanced extension of that philosophy, really.
Rightio, what are we, 5th of September? We hope to start the engine today. This is not supposed to be part of it. I tied up all the electrical wire with a bit of string because I thought that would look the part. So we're going to use string and wire as much as we can. We don't know what's going to happen there, so there's a lot of apprehension with that.
I'll just see what it feels like.
Plenty of oil there, so we've got plenty of lubrication.
And the trailer's still there. Okay.
I thought it sounded really grunty, you know, it had plenty of oomph with it, so yeah, I'm impressed. I'm really impressed, yeah. And it's still in one piece.
It nearly blew my hat off, and it was only just moving.
What'd you do with the throttle? Did you close it, did you?
No, I didn't do anything. I was about to if it got out of hand, but
I think it jumped into life, yeah. It's just cracked now, so just leave it there. And as I say, I think it was just lack of fuel, so we just put a bit more choke on just to see what that does. Yeah, that one's a go. We have a failure. See the sloppiness in the big end?
oh shit.
Now I don't know what it is that caused it.
Jeez.
So that is probably the weak link there, and I think I said that right at the start, that was probably my weakest link. I know I can. Is that it may have bent one of those.
That's what I was thinking.
Right at the start, I wanted to build this for the purpose of a replica flight. But I believe that the time is just going to run out on us now.
Pull this across, Jack?
Yeah.
Yeah, rebuild went really good. Wee bit slow in progress, mainly because Christmas intervened, but apart from that, everything that went really good. One of the things that really shook me when I first looked at this thing was the bore and stroke of the engine. It's 4-inch bore, 7-inch stroke. It's 4 cylinders. It equates to approximately 5.5 litres. That's an engine out of a V8 car.
Absolutely ecstatic. Really, it's hard to credit. It's something that we actually made and put together ourselves. All the bits and pieces, machined up, hours of work, machining it. I can appreciate Pearse's absolute, the genius of the man.
Well, we only had that first original failure, and we know what that was from, and we haven't had a single failure since then, so I'm more than pleased it's not going to rattle itself to pieces. Yeah, I'm more than happy the way it's going right now. We're trying to get it to a stage where we can turn the choke off when it will run and keep on running the way it's been going. It's no good trying to have somebody trying to taxi it or fly it with the choke on. And we want to just get that last little bit of tuning out of it so that it will be run successfully. Start it on the choke, turn the choke off when it will sit there, and then we can put the revs on and it will keep on revving. God, it's frustrating.
We might
You think you got it right, and you try one thing and it's so close, and then you think, well, I've got to try something else. And then it stays in. The local dogs are sort of starting to yelp and sort of cringe away, and I think that the neighbours probably think I'm starting to get a bit mad too, but thinking, what the hell is all this noise? Some of them were just shaking their heads in disbelief, and others were quite adamant. They thought, oh well, good luck to you, but I'm not really sure whether they thought I was mad or not, but well, we're close. We're not close to mad, but we're close to getting it going right.
We've got a lot of power in that motor. We think there's quite any amount to pull an aircraft into the air. No trouble at all. Not with the wing area it's got and the lightness of the whole machine. It's only going to be a brave man that sits in the seat.
It's only just touching it too.
Only just touching, isn't it? I wonder if we can move that spar back a fraction.
Why not?
You normally hold a stick down between your knees and your hand on the throttle, but in this case we've got throttle and stick all in one, and this one is not going to be used once we get airborne at all, providing we get airborne.
What's that?
With some practice, one will get the feel of how it goes.
The motor is now married to the airframe, exactly what it should be. He probably used some wood screws, a bit of number 8 wire, and anything else you could find around the farm that would suit it. It fits perfectly now, so look at that. Everything is just spot on. I'm happy with that. That's good. Crank her over and try and get it running. Just make a few noises and scare a few people away and frighten the birds and blow a bit of dust. And yeah, that'll be it. Right, ignition.
On contact.
Contact.
Throttle closed.
Contact. We took it outside. About 6 clicks to the propeller. She burst into life. That was a great occasion, you know. That was the first time once again. Pearse plane, Pearse engine, all working. 100 years time.
Good on you, boy. You've made a great job.
I reckon Richard Pearse was a great man and clever. I like his attitude to get stuck in. His plane was great and exciting. It must have been hard for him to invent a plane when no one had thought of it. His brain must have been well used to invent a motor to go in the plane. His life must have been interesting. I like him. He's clever and a great New Zealander. I am looking forward to the air show about him in Timaru.
Few that's left that really sort of knew him. What he said to me was that he thought that man should be able to fly because it's the nearest route to anywhere if you cross across the country instead of going around the road. And yeah, that's what he wanted. And that was his main object when he started building it, was to fly to Timaru to get the groceries instead of going around the long route. But he never made it. He flew, but he never flew that far.
Wright brothers, they had a catapult system down the ramp. They didn't fly off the ground with their own developed engine, whereas Richard Pearse did.
He was not only building an aeroplane, but he had to learn to fly it at the same time. And he said this was the act. He said when it come up off the ground, that's when he said, I really knew nothing about flying it. And he said that was the hardest bit, to keep it like he went to bank it and ended up in the gorse fence.
Way ahead of his time. Must have been something in the water up there.
But my grandmother, I remember her saying, you know, there's no argument about that, Frank, he flew all right. She said, because I watched him. And old Grandad said, he said the second time he flew, he said, I was there.
The power to weight ratio, simplicity of design, amazing for its day.
Because I was young and interested, that's probably why he talked to me, because, you know, my granddad and them never listened to him. That was the biggest, they poo-hooed him, you know, you can't fly, don't be darn silly.
I don't think it matters whether it flew or not. It doesn't detract from the skill and inventiveness of the creator, does it? I reckon it's the argument about who flew first is just a silly one, really.
People were just fascinated. They just couldn't believe how an engine like this could work. I reckon it was just fantastic, you know. People just wanted to know every scrap of information they could. Oh my God, look at all the people around me. And I heard the sigh go from the public. I thought, God, they're all holding their breath. All these people just come rushing out towards us. And I said, look at this, Jack.
Yeah, it's been a great day.
I got home and probably 2 weeks later there were still phone calls coming in saying, when are you going to go out and fly? I want to be there. And we did. We tapped into the public. We stirred their imagination. And they knew that we'd done something on a shoestring, you know, like the number 8 wire and bits and pieces like that. and the fact that we proved that it worked, and that was the key to the whole thing. We proved it there and then that it does actually run. The airframe is complete. It's only a matter now of doing a few balance tests and get a few of the natural things the aircraft have checked over, and then get a CFA on it, which is just sort of an airworthiness check, and then we're allowed to go ahead and prove that it's going to fly. Every step of the way I'm more and more confident that we can prove that it is going to work 100% and fly like it did 100 years ago.
To start her up and see if it'll taxi.
We've got to keep the engine running for quite a few moments, or quite a few minutes really, and taxi the aircraft along the ground and just feel how the airframe responds to the power we've got. This will tell us something. A, we've got enough power to do the job, or we may have enough power but we may not have the right pitch of the propeller. I'm going to have to learn how to use the throttle. It's
yeah,
very,
it's not something you can just go...
Very tender, isn't it? Yeah. I was getting the feel of that. I was only working about half throttle because I wanted to get the feel of the throttle.
But do you think there's good power grunt there? Got good torque, it's going to pull long nice, just re-pop it.
Yes, it is.
Get a bit better pitch on there and away we go.
Yeah.
That's fine.
The aeroplane, I feel, will fly. We've just got to get enough power to get the speed up to do it.
And we want it to work.
We keep trying. This is the beginning, not the end.